Hello, I'm Nikki Star. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. The weather is starting to turn. I have got October-y, autumn-y themed blankets going on. We are getting quite autumnal over here. What I've been trying to do in September is watch more kind of autumn-y films, reading more kind of October-y, autumn-y kind of books. What I've got is a little list of what I'm trying to do in October to kind of continue that theme through. So on the list we've got some books and we've got some films. If anyone has any others like TV shows or anything you guys do to kind of get kind of cozy and autumny, let me know. I've got a load of autumn themed candles. Did a little Halloween shop and got a couple of themed candles. I think one's like a toffee apple and one's a pumpkin spice latte candle, which is just my vibe to the core. And then I also bought some scents to make a couple of my own in some of my old jars. So made a little selection of things I can burn over October to start feeling really Halloweeny. So one other thing about this list, it's just like a nice list of things to pick from. It isn't necessarily exhaustive. I might finish some of them in September, and there's also the potential that there's way too many on this list for me to actually achieve. They're just kind of like things I could dig into if I want that kind of vibe. Firstly, in terms of books, I went to London to see some cricket a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago now. I had to kill some time, so I found a bookshop, as I do, and because I was in London, and because London always makes me think of Wicked and going to see shows and stuff, I saw this and I thought I have to. So this is on my list as kind of slightly witchy vibes. I've never read this before. I have seen the show multiple times and I've heard really good things, so I want to try and read this through if I can for that kind of witchy vibe. There's another series that I've been reading since I was a little kid, and a couple of years ago now, maybe a couple of Octobers ago now, I made a point to try and start the series from the beginning again. So this is the House of Night series. They are like vampires, but they're cool vampires, and it's that kind of vibe. I've read up to book 5. This is book 7 because book 6 is currently in my September list to read through. But if I don't finish 6, it will be 6 first. My copy of this has bright orange edges. I don't know why, but that feels very October-y, pumpkin-y to me. So I'm going to try and get through this. Not a massive book, and I do read quite quickly through because they're very teenagey. The other book I want to read that isn't currently a physical book for me is The X-Hex, which I've got downloaded onto my Kindle. I believe it's like a witchy ritual thing gone wrong, which I love as a concept, so that feels like something I really want to get into this month. I want to try and do the Marionettes by Katie Wismer. She's someone else who's on YouTube doing kind of author tubey editing vlogs that are quite interesting. She does freelance editing on the side of what she does. I also want to try and do Blood Like Magic by Lizelle Sandbury, again who's another person that does videos on YouTube as well as writing. And then last thing on the books, I might try and reread The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. I adore Neil Gaiman's writing, and The Graveyard Book has always been one that I listen to an Audible with him reading it, and there's just a vibe. It's fantastic. In terms of a few films that I might try and get in as well, I'm going to make a confession. I have never seen Hocus Pocus. I should have done. It has apparently all of my vibes, and whenever I tell someone that I know in person that I've not seen Hocus Pocus, it just confuses them endlessly. So I'm going to try and do Hocus Pocus this time around. I think the second one's coming out this year, so if I like the first one, I might try and do the sequel too. I really want to try and watch Corpse Bride again this year. I haven't watched it the last couple of years, but it was for a period of time, it was something I always tried to watch. It's just the right level of creepy for me, because I can't take too much creepy before I'm hiding all the rest of the night and I can't sleep properly. But it's got the kind of creepy element. And in terms of a cozy autumnal feel film rather than a spooky film, I have been watching things like Dead Poets Society and Good Will Hunting for that kind of autumnal dark academia in some ways, because it's all beginning of the school year, so it goes into autumn kind of feel. Good Will Hunting just has a vibe that I can't explain, but just feels right to be done in this time period. So on the same kind of lines, I want to try and watch You've Got Mail. That always feels like a cozy, comforting kind of autumny film to me. I don't know why, it's just on the list. And then I've just got a little other category. Obviously, I will be drinking pumpkin spice lattes like you would not believe. Already am. I have pumpkin spiced syrup at home, so I will be making countless numbers. I've been making them iced for the most of September because it's still been quite warm here, even though it's been a bit rainy. But I feel like in October we're going to start venturing into the proper warm, comforting pumpkin spice lattes. And I'm also getting back into like ginger teas, which I think is going to be a big thing for me over autumn. And I might try and make some gingerbread and that kind of vibe to it. And then something I want to do this year that I tried to do last year and I never got around to actually finishing, or like actually doing. I bought all the stuff for it and never did it. Is like mulling drinks, like doing mulled ciders and mulled wine. So like spice bags for them, which I think is still good. I will double check. I want to try and like do that. We did it in the Christmas time last year because we were still kind of going in and out of COVID restrictions, I think, if I remember correctly last year. And our actual Christmas event that we were going to do got cancelled because of some people getting COVID. So what we did last year was like a lot of like hanging around the house, and we would like we'd make like spiced ciders, and I made like loads of gingerbread and like things like that just in the house, so we had them. So I want to like ramp that up and have like mulled wine going on like earlier. I want to get like all the warming cozy stuff and hopefully get like all nice and cozy before we actually start proper heading for the Christmas period and the winter periods. So that is like a little TBR watch list kind of thing. There's some things that I'm trying to do to like just feel a little bit more cozy. So it's gonna be a lot of candles, it's gonna be a lot of blankets, it's gonna be a lot of teas and coffees and things, and then trying to settle down with films here and there to watch stuff. So you might see if I do any vlogs over October for Preptober, which is also going on. So I haven't forgotten that exists, and I also need to be working on some writing stuff. In the vlogs you might see me trying to pick up a few of these things if I can. Let me know in the comments if anyone else like me tries to make little lists of like cozy autumnal things to do rather than just kind of letting the vibes happen. It seems like a very me thing to do, to make a list first. And if you've got any like recommendations of films or books or TV that you watch to try and like get into that kind of autumn fall mood. So with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. I've been Nikki Star and I will see you in the next one.